I want to talk about how a couple scenes in the movie 300 remind me of some of the things that I teach in the 7 Habits for Winning at Life. The first one would be that scene where they cut off the arm of a slave master, and by the end of the day, the massive army of Persians are going to throw so many arrows at the air that it's going to blot out the sun, and then they answer him, then we'll fight in the shade. And then later on, um, there's a scene where they throw so many arrows at them that it gets really dark and they have to put their shields up and they protect themselves from all the arrows falling on them, and then they start laughing. And then one of them says, "What the hell are you laughing about?" And he says, "You had to tell them, didn't you? Then we'll fight in the shade." And they're just busting up laughing. And I'll play the scene for you.
By noon this day, you will be dead men. 1,000 nations of the Persian Empire descend upon you. Our arrows will blot out the sun.
Then we will fight in the shade.
Persian cowards! What the hell are you laughing at?
You had to say it.
What?
Fight in the shade.
Recover!
This scene reminded me, and this happened, this movie came out in 2006, so this was before my experience occurred. So when that happened in the movie, it reminded me of something back when I had a paintball store, and it was one of those events where it was a several store event, and so there were a lot of people, thousands of people showed up for this event. And there was a particular game that they did every season, every year when they did this event, and it was everyone out there against the store owners. So we were massively outnumbered, just like the Spartans, but paintball. And so this was the first year I'd ever attended this as a paintball store owner. I was on the other side the other years before playing. So this year, as a store owner, I was part of the Spartans, and so they start this event, and literally thousands come screaming, shooting their paintball guns. And for a second there were so many paintballs in the air that it blotted out the sun. I'm not kidding you. It got darker, and then my best friend made some comments that I can't repeat, and it was just, we were busting up while getting pelted and all this paint from these paintballs that were hitting us from thousands of people shooting literally at just a few of us. And here we were busting up at the time, and it was exactly like the scene that you see in the movie. And that's exactly the kind of thing I talk about, the 7 Habits for Winning at Life, is that you reach a point where you exceed at your hobby, whatever that might be, but you reach a point where you're really good. You're really good because you've put hours and hours into it and you're really proud of yourself, which is another part of the movie too, is where the main guy goes to meet up with another bunch of warriors, and he's just there with his 300 Spartans, and the guy that shows up with thousands of troops, and he says, "Hey, I thought you were serious about this. You only sent 300 people?" And what you have to understand about the Spartans is that they were born to fight, literally. In their society, it was like 1920s US with eugenics. You were cast out, you were thrown away if you were genetically in some way deficient. They just tossed you from birth. And so that was part of the whole mystique of the Spartans, is that they were raised for war, and then like the Bhagavad Gita, or Lao Tzu, the idea that it's much better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. And so anyway, the movie has this scene where at the crossroads, the Spartan says to one of the troop members, he says, "Hey, you, what's your job?" And he says, "A potter." "Oh, potter. What about you?" "A sculptor." "Oh, a sculptor." And he goes to the last guy and he says, "I'm a blacksmith." And it's like, oh, well, that's a little bit more of a man kind of job. And he turns to these Spartans that were raised for war since day one. He says, "What's your profession?" "Oh, oh, oh."
Daxos. What a pleasant surprise. This morning's full of surprises, Leonidas.
We've been tricked. Probably more than a few hundred. This is a surprise.
Silence! We heard Sparta was on the warpath. We were eager to join forces. If it is blood you seek, you're welcome to join us. But you bring only this handful of soldiers against Xerxes? I see I was wrong to expect Sparta's commitment to at least match our own. Doesn't it? You, there. What is your profession?
I'm a potter, sir.
And you, Arcadian. What is your profession?
Sculptor, sir.
You?
Blacksmith.
Spartans! What is your profession? See, old friend, I brought more soldiers than you did.
And you really get a sense, if you've ever excelled at whatever you've excelled in at something, you say, yeah, among a group of people that haven't done it for their whole lives and spent every hour of their lives thinking and living that particular lifestyle of whatever you're good at, you could definitely relate to that. You can definitely say, yeah, I am part of the group that's what we do. And so he says, you see, I brought more soldiers than you did because that's what they were bred for. And one of the things that I teach is that excel at something. It's something that you're really good at, that you love to do, that you could spend hours doing it, where you lose yourself into it. That's my thoughts of how it relates to the movie 300. So please join my Skool community.